Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
arrived. To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is the 24th of April. You see, we have two signs that we are transitioning to, and the transition that has already occurred. It occurred at 1:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we have gone from Aquarius to the next sign after that, Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. So we go from air, which are words and actions, to water, which is all about emotions, feelings. And Pisces is the card that has two fish swimming in opposite directions. So with the two fish swimming in the opposite directions, what you've got going on there is emotions, pushing oneself in many different ways. And so the idea is to not be affected that every time an emotion comes up we want to swim another way, but to learn how to balance those out, not get pushed around by the emotions. Okay? And then of course yesterday's Grand Cross, we're still feeling and will be feeling the effect of that for some time after that alignment took place. Numerology, today we're at a number 8 day. 8 day is, you know by now, all the things that are associated with it. It's this Leo, it's the card of strength and tarot, it's dealing with authoritative, business-minded leaders. They value control and tend to be powerful, but are balanced, materially detached, successful and realistic. They end up in management positions. Negative sides, 8s can be cruel, insensitive, violent, bullish, greedy. At their worst, intolerant, zealous, religious zealots. Now here's how we arrived at the number 8. We got 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4. So that's 4 plus 6 plus 7. That's a 17. 17 is 1 plus 7. That equals 8. Okay? And here we have the card of strength. This is the card number 8 for today. And with the 8s, what we have is a balancing that is taking place. The woman, the subconscious mind, is taming the male conscious mind, that lion animal nature. It's learning how to bring that energy up that is within us. Some call it the Kundalini energy. Learning how to take that energy and allow it to channel through the heart chakra first, so that everything coming out is colored with love. Very important that we allow love to be the center point of all things. Here we could see card of strength right here, 8. We can see it's a doorway. Doorway, here we have the inner chamber. We have the first doorway here, and then the other doorway here, right? So all of this inner chamber is in between our imagination and our strength. And here we have, and so strength is balancing out all aspects of mercy and severity, things that are too little and things that are too much. It's balancing them out, okay, with its strength, bringing the heart into play. And then, of course, we have Taurus right here for the Hierophant, and today's moon sign, Pisces, we're right down over here. Pisces is the moon. So we're going from our emotions down into the physical world, foundation, the kingdom. Okay, so this path is allowing us to go and look, have faith that things are going to work out. Understand that life is a process of evolution. And then as we just allow ourselves to evolve along with the process, everything works out fine. Sometimes we just get caught up in our emotions and what's going on. Okay, so it's very important. When we look at life, we look at the things that push our buttons, and emotions certainly are one of those. Emotions, mental issues, and as we learn to deal with them, so when these occur, that we're not affected by them in an adverse way, things are more effective. We had a waning moon, waning crescent moon, 24% of the way there. 24% on the 24th. A little synchronicity there. Okay, here we have dawn. This is just before sunrise. This is how we're going to see things tonight. The moon, enough way up here, tells us that during dawn tomorrow, look below the waning moon for Venus. Okay, so we're going to see the moon. I'm going to look way down over here. We'll see Venus when we look at it. Alright. Very good. Mayan Oracle. We're at a 7-tone day. 7-tone is called the resonant tone of attunement. We have the guide for today is the star. The warrior is our kin. The warrior uses intelligence to ask questions. The warrior also wears the armor to protect itself from the outside blows that come from just moving through life. In this particular case, if we think about the warrior in the tarot, it's the chariot who wears the armor to protect itself from all of the emotions. Today being a day of emotions, we use our intelligence to go out there and deal with issues accordingly, not getting all caught up in them. The night is our like-minded energy. World Bridger is our challenge. Hidden power is the serpent. And our phrase is I channel in order to question, inspiring fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of elegance. And today is a galactic activation portal day. You can see here, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows up and 5 columns over. There's our synchronicity point. At space weather, our solar wind is currently at 424.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet between a 2 and a 3. Nothing really coronal hole-ish. Maybe something here, very, very small down here, but nothing of definite consequence that's going to be affecting us. M-class flare is 40 and still dropping down to 30. X-class is already down to 1. Geomagnetic storm activity is pretty low as well, still hanging in the 30 range in the higher latitudes, but mid-latitudes is pretty low. And over to our Jewish calendar. Today is 24th day of Nisan. Okay, 24 Nisan. And Passover is past. But we have other days coming up to be aware of. So there you have it. That gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
There you go. Turn the microphone on, it helps. Thank you very much, Dirk. Here's our first story. UFO recorded over Birmingham, UK. This goes back to the 10th of April. New interesting video footage of a huge UFO recorded in the sky of Birmingham, UK on April 10th. The witness spotted in the sky above Birmingham. I'm aware that it could have been a plane with the circular shape and the fact that it just hovered lead the 4 of us in the car to believe that it could possibly be a UFO. Alright. It looks different than any plane that I'm aware of. Okay, 52 seconds is the length of this video. Very good sighting. They captured as they're driving along. Alright, let's move from here to our next one. This goes to the next day, the 11th. This was over a soccer game in Argentina. Here's the stadium. Here's the UFO in question. This UFO was caught by accident by an Argentinian soccer fan. YouTube user Musicevo caught it as it passed over the excited spectators. With all the cheering of the game and it being a final goal celebration, the person didn't notice as the UFO passed overhead. If you want to see the UFO, jump to 120 in the video where you will see it circle the stadium. As it gets closer, the diamond shape stands out. As the UFO gets up to the upper far right of the video, it allows us to get a good look of its diamond shape. You can see it in the video below. This is not the first time a UFO was seen over a sports arena. In fact, in October 28th, 2 spinning diamonds were seen above the Dallas Cowboys football game. They were spotted by an announcer on the live game, and he told the camera guy to zoom in on them. Similarities in appearance to this Argentina UFO is remarkable, to say the least. The UFO demonstrates incredible agility as it moves up and down in altitude. But what's even more remarkable is its speed. In less than 5 seconds, it circled half the stadium. Our images, and let's jump here to it's a 6-minute 50-second video. We're going to jump ahead though to 120. Let's take a look at it here. Okay, this is where we're going to get a good shot. There it is. See it? It's right over here. Back up again just so you could get another look. It's coming right from this area here. Just keep your eye on it. As soon as I see it, I will there it is. Okay, you see it right there? So you can see it just start to come across, and it zips pretty fast. Okay. If I zip ahead, let's see if we see any more of it here. Okay, that's how you see it this moment there, but there you go. That was a good shot. Alright, let's move on from here. From the soccer game, this is to Nevada. Interesting video of a very fast UFO flying in the night sky above Las Vegas. This was on April 16th. Witness report says, I took this video at about 8:20 p.m. to 8:24 on April 16th, 2014 from my backyard. I was looking to the northeast or towards North Las Vegas and Nellis Air Force Base. At about 8:20 p.m. on April 16th, I went out onto my patio to have a cigarette. At about 8:22 p.m., I saw what I thought was a low-flying airplane over Las Vegas until it reversed directions instantly. I got up and went to get to a spot in my yard where I could see it better. It was moving all over the northwestern sky, blinking a greenish blue and red. The colors were very bright. Immediately reached in my pocket, grabbed my Galaxy S4 so that I could try to shoot a video of what I was seeing. It's only the second time I filmed a video on this phone, so it was a bit shaky and I was pretty jacked up because you could clearly see this was a UFO and not a conventional aircraft. This all appeared to occur over near Nellis Air Base. However, another witness said that it was a Sentinel Hills area of Las Vegas, so it was probably between 13 and 21 miles away when I videotaped it. My home is in the extreme west side of Las Vegas near the Red Rocks and the Pine Mountains. The video is shaky, but other parts clearly show the object moving at incredible speeds and in a manner no other aircraft could do. Okay, so let's go down here and look at this video. It is 4 minutes and 31 seconds. There's our object in question. Pretty good sighting, right? Alright, and it's still flying around. Let's see. So, I'm going to leave the video to you. Of course, when you enlarge the screen, you'll see it much better. 4 minutes and 31 seconds worth. Okay. Here's our object again. Alright, let's move on from here. This is some more Area 51 footage. Investigation usually concerns objects found outside Earth's atmosphere, but this project is totally different. When people talk about Area 51, they want to know one thing in particular. Are there or were there Are there not UFOs hidden in Area 51? For decades, no one was able to answer this question. There were some indications that suggest UFO activity at Area 51, but there was no evidence. In 2014, we finally can answer the question. Yes, there is at least one unknown flying object, but not necessarily an alien craft. Video offers evidence for the UFO's secret space program. Area 51, known for its secret projects, is located between the mountains and heavily guarded. It literally keeps spectators at a safe distance of a few miles, and a light-sensitive camera telescope is required to show these UFOs. Alright, here's a 30-minute video. So you can check this out. Obviously not enough time to play this whole thing. It's like a little documentary footage up there. This goes back to 1991. And just imagine, if this was what able to be captured then, the technology certainly advanced. Okay, I'm going to leave the video for you so you can zip through and watch it, the full 30 minutes worth. I'm going to move on to the next one. Understanding triangular UFOs since 19th century. Many people believe the aerospace engineering has been producing triangular UFOs, but it was in 1890 the first UFO was recorded in the Dutch East Indies. Then, in 1894, a flying triangular object was again spotted in England. These two notable events were featured in the popular book of the Damned by Charles Fort, published in 1919. With deep research about triangular UFOs, however, they can be traced back as early as 1882, when astronomers reportedly observed two large triangular-shaped objects near the moon. This event was reported in Scientific American, volume April 1882. It was described that the object had rendezvoused before they disappeared. In the past 20 years or so, reports about triangular UFOs have been all over the media. There have been various television shows featuring cases of triangular UFO sightings from numerous parts of the U.S. and Europe. This kind of UFO has been usually reported to be similar to the size of a football field, about 2 stories thick and boxy. Majority of the reported witnesses said triangular UFOs often have 3 bright orbs on the underside and 3 big bright parts on the rear wall. There were others who observed other light configurations. Most reports of these objects said that they were flying without sound, although there were few witnesses to claim to have heard a throbbing hum sound. Okay, that's the triangular craft. And the very last one here is a question. Are some UFOs actually interstellar alien probes? Computer simulations by a pair of researchers at the University of Edinburgh predict that a fleet of interstellar probes could explore the entire Milky Way galaxy within a fraction of the present age of Earth. This may seem like a tall order, considering that our furthest interstellar spacecraft, Voyager, is still less than a light day from Earth after being launched 36 years ago. In the new simulation, however, alien probes only need to travel at 10% of the speed of light to survey the entire galaxy within 10 million years. And they could also get a turbo boost and save fuel by doing a slingshot off the gravitational fields of stars. The concept of self-aware and self-replicating probes traveling across the galaxy is nothing new. However, the idea goes back as far as 1960. It was promoted by SETI pioneer Ronald Bracewell, who as an alternative to listening for interstellar artificial radio signals. The idea of a machine capable of cloning itself goes back at least 100 years. Mathematician John von Neumann detailed the operation of such a robot in 1949. In a recent paper, Arwin Nicholson and Duncan Forgan take the idea a step further by exploring 3 different scenarios of probe behavior, using standard power light, using gravitational slingshot techniques around the stars, and hopscotching star by star to get the maximum speed boost under slingshot trajectories. Voyager 1 and 2 zipped across the solar system with a boost from bouncing like a pinball off the gravitational fields off the massive outer planets. From the scaling of the probe's performance with star number, we conclude that a fleet of self-replicating probes can indeed explore the galaxy in sufficiently short time to warrant the existence of the Fermi paradox, the team reports. The Fermi paradox, where nuclear physicist Enrico Fermi asked the rhetorical question, where are they? Extraterrestrials ponders why we have no evidence of alien visitations. For the UFO buffs, let me flatly say that this does not mean pointy-eared aliens should be here and now, but instead suggests occasional visits over geologic time by virtually immortal robots. The team simulation means that our solar system should have been visited perhaps more than once, well before the dawn of man, but alien builders might have been motivated to have the machines go stealthily and cover their tracks once a planetary system survey is completed. In Arthur C. Clarke's 72 novel Rendezvous with Rama, star-hopping aliens are pretty blatant. The giant cylindrical space ark enters the solar system. An astronaut survey team explores its dark, ghostly interior, hibernating city. Humans fully realize that the mothership is not stopping for a visit, but simply using the sun's gravity to get a boost to destinations unknown. Rama aside, don't look for a spent or destroyed probe, because visiting robots might definitely get a green by not leaving behind any trash for their sorties. They would also have the ability to self-repair during long interstellar voyages and self-replicate with ultimate 3D printer. In a sprint across the galaxy, a civilization may send out a few probes that would be programmed to choose the next star they travel to according to some decision-making algorithm. Once they reach the new star system, they scan for signs of life and create a copy of themselves. The parent and child probe each pick off a new star to travel to, and the process repeats itself in a geometric progression. Okay, a lot more to this article. I'm going to leave that for you to read. FirstContactRadio.com is the link, the site where you can find all these links. That's it. I'm going to be back in a moment with more news and information. Let's jump ahead to this song here, Confirm or Deny. I'll be right back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Bases that are secrets here. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies?
Alright, what's up with their lies? What's up with their lies? Alright, we're going to continue on with our study of the Kryballion momentarily. I got two quick stories to bring to you first. First one has to do with Jupiter. This is a 6-minute and 56-second video. It says Jupiter freaks out and almost nobody notices. What I want to play for you here is this portion of the clip. And that's Jupiter right there. And you can see it seems to be behaving strangely. The question is, why? Is that just something that we're seeing through the atmosphere that is making it look that way? Or is there something else going on up there? I don't have an answer. Maybe you might know what that is or why that is. Certainly the easy answer is the atmosphere, and a lot of people are jumping up and saying this right off the bat. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So if you check out this video and any ideas, let me know. Alright? Let's move on from there. Pretty interesting, though. Now, our internet's very important to us, and you have heard talk about having more security measures put in place to protect the people, not to protect the governments, to protect the people. And this certainly is something along those lines. Brazil enacts Internet Bill of Rights. Brazil's president signed into law Wednesday a Bill of Rights for the digital age that aims to protect online privacy and promote the Internet as a public utility by barring telecommunications companies from charging for preferential access to the networks. The law, signed by President Dilma Rousseff at a global conference on the future of Internet governance, puts Brazil in the vanguard of online consumer protection and what is known as the net neutrality, whose promoters consider it profoundly democratic, in part because it keeps financial barriers for innovators low. The new law promotes privacy by limiting the data that online companies can collect on Internet users in a nation of 200 million people, deeming communication over the Internet inviolable, and secret service providers must develop protocols to ensure email can be read only by senders and their intended recipients. Violators are subject to penalties, including fines and suspensions. The law obliges Internet companies, however, to hold on to user data for 6 months and to hand it over to law enforcement under court order. Enactment of law, which won final legal approval in the Senate late Tuesday, coincided with Brazil's hosting of a global conference widely seen as an effort to chart a path for less U.S.-centric Internet and attended by high-level delegations from countries like Germany and the United States. Brazil casts itself as a defender of Internet freedom after revelations last year that the U.S. National Security Agency had spied on Rousseff, her close advisors, and Brazilian commercial interests, those including state-run oil companies. Rousseff canceled a state visit to the U.S. in October over the disclosures, the result of the damaging leaks by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. She said she would promote more homegrown Internet services, beginning with the National Email Service, and makes Brazil piece of the global Internet less U.S. dependent, in part by laying an undersea cable to Europe. The bulk of Latin America's Internet traffic passes through the United States. All right, so that's something. Again, United States of America is going to be getting behind all these other countries. We're already behind in education, and it's only a matter of time to go behind in all these other areas because we have other countries that are going to step up and want to do and take actions to protect their people better than the Americans want to. We have a crazy system here. Americans really need to step up to the plate. Too many Americans are just letting things slide by on a daily basis, and when questioned about it, they seem absolutely clueless about what's going on. Now, I'm not on a daily basis bringing up all kind of conspiracies and things on the show anymore. If you want to find those, there's plenty of places out there. I want to spend the time working on things to move past all of that, okay? Because we know the conspiracies exist. I don't think it's necessary that we are immersed in them every single day, because we can go and look from time to time and still see that the issues are still there, and the stories just drag on. It's kind of like the war on terror. It keeps going, and you can skip 5 days, 10 days of it, and when you come back, it's the same story. Nothing's changed. So that's the reason why. If there's something important that we need to know about, and I run across it, I'll certainly bring it across and let you know, so we can keep informed. But in the most part, it's just the same story, different day. Another bit of fear that's put out there. Okay? And we have to learn to move past the fear. So, having said that, now let us move on to our Kryballion. Alright, it's a review. We've gone over 9 chapters so far. The last one we did was Vibration. We've covered the principles of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, and today we're going to go into polarity. Okay. Chapter 10, Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. It's a quote from the Kryballion. The fourth great hermetic principle, the principle of polarity, embodies the truth that all manifested things have two sides, two aspects, two poles, a pair of opposites, with manifold degrees between the two extremes. The old paradoxes which have ever perplexed the mind of men are explained by an understanding of this principle. Man has always recognized something akin to this principle, and has endeavored to express it by such sayings, maxims, and aphorisms as the following: everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half-truths. Every truth is half false. There are two sides to everything. There is a reverse side to every shield, etc., etc. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the difference between things seemingly diametrically opposed to each other is merely a matter of degree. It teaches that the pairs of opposites may be reconciled, and that thesis and antithesis are identical in nature but different in degree, and that the universal reconciliation of opposites is effected by recognition of this principle of polarity. The teachers claim that illustrations of this principle may be had in every hand, and from the examination into the real nature of anything. They begin by showing that spirit and matter are but two poles of the same thing, the intermediate plane being merely degrees of vibration. They show that the all and the many are the same, the difference being merely a matter of degree of mental manifestation. Thus the law and laws are two opposite poles of one thing. Likewise, principle and principles, infinite mind and finite mind. Then, passing on to the physical plane, they illustrate the principle by showing that heat and cold are identical in nature, the difference being merely a matter of degrees. The thermometer shows many degrees of temperature, the lowest pole being called cold, the highest heat. Between these two poles are many degrees of heat or cold. Call them either and you are equally correct. The higher the 2 degrees is always warmer, while the lower is always cooler. There is no absolute standard. All is a matter of degree. There is no place on the thermometer where heat ceases and cold begins. It is all a matter of higher or lower vibration. The very term high and low, which we are compelled to use, are but poles of the same thing. The terms are relative. So with east and west. Travel around the world in an eastward direction and you reach a point which is called west at your starting point, and return from that westward point. Travel far enough north and you will find yourself traveling south or vice versa. Light and darkness are poles of the same thing with many degrees between them. The musical scale is the same. Starting with C, you move upward until you reach another C, and so on the differences between the two ends of the board being the same, with many degrees between the two extremes. The scale of color is the same, higher and lower vibrations being the only difference between high violet and low red. Large and small are relative, so are noise and quiet. Hard and soft follow the rule. Likewise, sharp and dull, positive and negative are two poles of the same thing, with countless degrees between them. Good and bad are not absolute. We call one end of the scale good and the other end bad, or one end good and the other evil. According to the terms, a thing is less good than the higher in the scale, but that less good thing in turn is more good than the next thing below it, and so on, the more or less being regulated by the position of the scale. And so it is on the mental plane. Love and hate are generally regarded as being things diametrically opposed to each other, entirely different, unrecognizable. But we apply the principle of polarity, we find that there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate, as distinguished from each other. The two are merely terms applied to the two poles of the same thing. Beginning at any point of the scale, we find more love or less hate as we ascend the scale, and more hate or less love as we descend. This being true no matter from what point, high or low, we may start. There are degrees of love and hate, and there is a middle point, where like and dislike becomes so faint that it is difficult to distinguish between them. Courage and fear have come under the same rule. The pairs of opposites exist everywhere. Where you find one thing, you find its opposites, the two poles. And it is the fact that enables the Hermeticist to transmute one mental state into another, along the lines of polarization. Things belonging to different classes cannot be transmuted into each other, but things of the same class may be changed, that is, may have their polarity changed. Thus love Lesson that love never becomes east or west, or red or violet, but it may, and often does, turn into hate or likewise. Hate may be transformed into love by changing its polarity. Courage may be transmuted into fear, and the reverse. Hard things may be rendered soft, dull things may become sharp, hot things become cold, and so on, the transmutation always being carried between the things of the same kind of degree. Take care of a fearful man by raising his mental vibrations along the line of fear. Courage, he can be filled with the highest degree of courage and fearlessness, and likewise the slothful man may be changed himself into an active, energetic individual simply by polarizing along the lines of the desired quality. The student who is familiar with the process by which the various schools of mental science, etc., produce changes in the mental states of those following their teachings may not readily understand the principle underlying many of these degrees or changes. When, however, the principle of polarity is once grasped, and it is seen that the mental changes are caused by a change of polarity, by sliding along the same scale, the matter is readily understood. The change is not the nature of the transmutation of one thing into another, entirely different, but is merely a change of degree in the same thing, in vastly important difference. For instance, borrowing an analogy from the physical plane, it is impossible to change heat into sharpness, loudness, highness, etc. But heat may readily be transmuted into cold simply by lowering the vibrations. In the same way, hate and love are mutably transmutable, so are fear and courage. But fear cannot be transformed into love, nor can courage be transmuted into hate. The mental states belong to innumerable classes, each class of which has its opposite poles, along which transmutation is possible. The student will readily recognize that in the mental states as well as in the phenomena of the physical plane, the two poles may be classified as positive and negative respectively. Thus, love is positive to hate, courage to fear, activity to no activity, etc. And it will also be noticed that even to those unfamiliar with the principle of vibration, the positive pole seems to be of a higher degree than the negative and readily dominates it. The tendency of nature is in the nature of the dominant activity of the positive pole. In addition to the changing of the poles of one's own mental states, by the operation of the art of polarization, the phenomena of mental influence in its manifold phases shows us that the principle may be extended so as to embrace the phenomena of the influence of the one mind over that of another, of which so much has been written and taught of late years. When it is understood that mental induction is possible, that mental states may be produced by induction from others, then we can readily see how a certain rate of vibration or polarization of a certain mental state may be communicated to another person, and his polarity in that class of mental states thus changed. It is along this principle that the results of many of the mental treatments are obtained. For instance, a person is blue, melancholy, and full of fear. A mental scientist brings his own mind up to the desired vibration by his trained will, and thus, observing the desired polarization in his own case, then produces a similar mental state in the other by induction. The result being the vibrations are raised and the person polarizes towards the positive end of the scale instead of towards the negative, and his fear and other negative emotions are transmuted to courage and similar positive mental states. A little study will show you that these mental changes are nearly all along the line of polarization, the change being of one degree rather than of kind. The knowledge of the existence of this great hermetic principle will enable the student to better understand his own mental state and those of other people. He will see that these states are all matters of degree, and seeing thus, he will be able to raise or lower the vibration at will, to change his mental poles, and thus be master of his mental states, instead of being their servant and slave. And by his knowledge, he will be able to aid his fellow intelligently, and by the appropriate methods change the polarity when the same is desirable. We advise the student to familiarize himself with this principle of polarity, for a correct understanding of the same will throw light on many difficult subjects. So there you go, the principle of polarity. So we understand that the mind is all, that the mind corresponds. There's different levels and planes to this, and that all of these planes do correspond with each other. Not only do they correspond, but there is a vibration that takes place within all of these, and these vibrations all are occurring along lines of polarities, so that we can have one idea like fear, and the opposite end of it might be courage, because you've got the same ideal. It is just expressed along different degrees. And so you can see energy is very much able to be worked and developed and changed and affected by our thoughts just by going over these processes. Okay? So the book's available, the Kryballion. It's at the site, firstcontactradio.com. Check it out. Tomorrow we will continue on with the next chapter, which is the chapter of rhythm. Right. And let's move on to our next story here, or article. This is from In5D. I like to pull up articles from their site, very insightful, good writers over there. This one is called Can You Program Your DNA for Immortality? Rachel Mason. Every day we hear about the raising rays of illness and young people dying from diseases that used to only be for the old. And at the same time, we read the possibility of real immortality. Considering aging that means illness, hardship, and pain, we come to the conclusion that we have had enough of life, or at least this kind of life. The ancients, as in the tales of Gilgamesh, Jason, and Argonauts, went on quest for immortality and the secret of eternal life. The gods are said to be immortal. The Old Testament describes our ancestors as regularly living over 600 years, sometimes up to almost 1,000 years. The current paradigm and fallacy of mainstream medicine is that it is viewed as a machine, this thing we can carry on out our desires. Who we are and what we do with our body has little bearing on what happens to it. Illness is either primary, a random event, or a genetic inevitability. So it comes down to statistics to quell our fears. It means we can safely dismiss any idea of our mind or lifestyle affecting our health. In other words, we have no responsibility towards ourselves. A study compared the effects of positive thinking on long-term outcome of illness, found that positive thinking has no effect, but long-term survival rates are much greater in those with a positive attitude. In other words, just thinking happy thoughts has no effect, but a positive view of life has the desired effect. Positive thinking is our surface thoughts, while the second, it takes into account deeply held beliefs on both a conscious and unconscious level. Health means reprogramming our belief systems or removing the effects of all these things that led us to hold negative views, emotions, and behaviors. 30 years ago, Louise Hay described how our thought feeling patterns relate to specific illnesses. More recently, Dr. Candace Pert, formerly with NIH, showed exactly how this happens. Our thoughts and our feelings are immediately translated into amino acid strands in the body, altering cellular function and genetic sequencing. Our thoughts literally change our DNA for better or for worse. Our mind has the power to activate and deactivate genetic sequences. Dr. Reiki Hammer, in his work with over 10,000 patients with cancer, found that each one had, within the previous 3 years prior, severe unresolved emotional trauma. As soon as the trauma was identified and resolved, the cancer also heals. This held true for all illnesses. He also found that our immediate emotional reaction is the link for illness. If we react immediately, we get sick. If we don't react, we don't get sick. It is our reaction that is the problem. Demonstrating that controlling our immediate reactions is key to our health. Aging and illness are the results of wearing down the body by toxins and negative emotions, clogging the body's receptors, so they are unable to absorb the nutrients with which to function properly. Acting in our negative emotions creates a mess. Spiritual teachings say the same thing. Restrict our negative behavior, change our patterns to break out of our programmed system. These, as well as some meditative and natural health techniques, help us to break the energetic block these old patterns might have over us. You know, that the rush you get when you try to figure out why you do something or finally manage to act differently. This is the energy being released. Each painful situation that comes into our lives teaches us something. By understanding our own triggers in the situation, pain becomes easier and productive. Babies are born with all of their brain neurons working, connected to the source, the endless spiritual worlds. For a baby to begin functioning in this world, his or her own reactive patterns develop a response to life, and the brain pathways narrow. This also works in reverse. As we remove our programming, we reconnect to the full power of our brains, the endless and unlimited potential. Our DNA works at many levels. It functions physically, but also energetically through the emissions of energy photons. The more we remove the negative emotions and change our patterns, the stronger and more frequent our DNA light photons are. We literally become beams of light as we disconnect from our programming and connect to the light. So back to immortality. Immortality means removing our negative emotions and matrix programming. We connect to the source, revealing our soul's true nature of love, peace, and unlimited potential. Since we have learned from the negative situations and changed ourselves, there will be no more need for painful life experiences. We flow in tune with the universe. Immortality means we have illness-free, happy ever after. And once this happens on a global level, there will be few negative emotions and no desire to harm each other. That'll be nice, right? So, again, you could see there's a tie-in here. Again, it talks about how we use our mind to affect our DNA. It all goes back to what we're reading about and hearing about in the Kryballion. We use our mind to be able to go and affect, to correspond with other aspects of ourself through the process of vibration. And in polarity, we then go and make the changes we need to these varying degrees of thoughts and so on. It's a real simple process. It shows itself over and over and over again in all of the systems of esoteric science that are out there. And once we really understand the system, whenever we look at it described in other systems or other ways, we always understand it's describing the same thing. Okay? That moves us on to our message for today. Today is a message that was channeled through during the blood moon. And this is a message from Elementals, Fairies, and Elves during that blood moon time. Let's check it out.
Malign Fund, message from the Elementals, Fairies, and Elves during the Blood Moon Portal by Malign Fund, April 18, 2014.
These are messages that were conveyed through me while being in Avebury Stone Circle, UK. Stones in Avebury. Can you tell us what you are, as an essence and being, instead of this form of stone?
We are a part of the elementals. We are elemental spirits that are formed into a stone, as this is the vision and perception of humanity of how they perceive us, which is the form of a stone. And as soon as humanity will see us as an elemental spirit, we will be set free as a stone. Thank you for being here.
One sentence message from the stones through my friend.
The mists of time are withdrawing themselves and humanity will begin to see things as they really are.
Thank you for calling for us. What can we be of service to you?
Please send love to this planet and to immortality.
This is a message given to me from the fairies and the elves while sitting under the trees in Avebury. It was an audio channeling, and I have to quote it, as it was shared through me.
Beloved Portia, we are the elves and the fairy kingdoms, and we wish to convey a message through you. The message is to stay grounded in the upcoming days, to be relaxed as much as possible. There is a huge changeover that is taking place at this time, that is being instigated since the blood moon, and this rather on the physical reality than on the ethereal reality, which means that it is in our now moment in our earthly reality. This changeover will assist you and humanity into a deeper process of reunion with the twin flames as well as union with self. Not only with self and the twin flames, but also a huge changeover and makeover of this entire matrix on planet Earth. There will be veils lifted. There will be processes that will bring you into an intense clearing as well as purification. We do realize that this is taking place for such a long time, but now it is one of the most intense processes that humanity will go through, as we are set in the middle and the center of the point of the galactic systems and nations, for everything is being brought into balance and into a 0 point. This 0 point will assist humanity in this ascension process to let go of all the timelines of past incarnations and life forms, and to assist in being in the now, so that everything that is being in the now is union, is oneness, and this for the collective as well as for planet Earth. The matrix will change in such a deep and grand way that most of humanity will reach. This is the point of view in the now, the other side of the veil, so to speak, but a lot of people will be confused, and it is our request and advice for you to be grounded and to be there for whomever may require your assistance. Whether it would be with patience, love, and services, or through other ways. Whatever is best and serving the highest best, you will be guided to do so and to offer this. As for people who will not be awakened at the time, hard times will come, but realize that these hard times will be hard to wake these souls up and to bring those into a deeper realization and inner knowing. So everything is serving for the better. We wish you much luck and the best, until we meet again in the heart, precious Portia. We love you.
Thank you so much. I love you all so much by heart. Is there anything we can be of service to you?
Send love to the entire planet.
Every time that I have asked if we can assist and be of service, the clear and strong message came in to send love to the planet. I got a strong feeling that this is being stressed strongly as tremendous shifts are taking place. More sharing of my sacred journey to come in the upcoming days. A lot to share and to show you all that has to do with sacred names and symbols, relationships, and Merlin. Much love.
Alright, nice message today. Send love to the planet. We're going to do exactly that. So let's jump over to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Let's start off with activating all of the chakras, making sure they're working properly. Red at the bottom of the spine. Orange above that at the navel, belly button area. Up in the solar plexus area just below the rib cage, yellow. Up to the heart chakra, green. The throat chakra, blue. The third eye chakra, indigo. And the crown chakra, violet. And then the light continues on as bright white. Imagine all of these chakras spinning clockwise and spinning counterclockwise. And imagine this vortex of energy in each of these points that were just outlined, these 7 chakra centers. And imagine the multicolored energy mixing from all of these chakras as it flows through your body. And allow all this energy just to fill your body up. Feel how good it feels to be energized. And allow this energy to overflow from your body out into the room where you live. And expand that outward from the room into the home. And then out into the city. And into the state. Into the country, and then around the world. Let's just imagine this positive energy that we're all sending out. Let's imagine this as love. Pure love. And let's imagine sending this love down into the earth. And actually imagine your hands pointing down and focusing this energy down. And seeing rays of light come out of your hands. Beaming the earth with love. And just keep sending love and thinking of the planet. Tell the earth that we love the earth. We love her. And we wish the well. And we wish the best. And that we are here to assist the earth with the change. And we do so by sending love. For we recognize that earth is a living and breathing entity just as we are. So we send this love into the earth, and we imagine this love going deep, deep, deep down to the core of the earth. And we see the whole planet glowing with love. And with all of this love, we know that the changes are going to be smooth and easy. Because love will allow those changes to be smooth and easy. And we send this love up into the cosmos to our space brothers and our sisters. And we thank them for being there to assist us through this process of change. And we give thanks to the earth for being underneath our feet, to providing us as a home for where we can live and grow and move and evolve. And we look at the earth and the sky and we realize that here we are, in between the two, feeling the energy from both and understanding the oneness of all. So as you go into the world today, just imagine all of the energies of life. Imagine the extremes that we face on this planet and how that the opposites are actually one and the same, just at different ends of the spectrum. And just imagine yourself as a pole of energy, and you're able to move that energy from one side of the pole to the other just by using your thoughts. So as you go through the world today, when you find yourself confronted with any situations, just imagine that pole and just sending the vibrations one way or the other to where you need them to go to change the polarity of your thoughts or ideas or feelings. And let's just think a good thought for everybody in the world today. Wish everybody a good day, a good, peaceful, loving, happy day. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Go ahead and take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Tomorrow we'll continue on with the Kryballion. We'll go on to the next lesson, which is that of rhythm. In the meantime, go back, check out the links for all the stories from today and the past shows, and just keep loving each other out there. We're going through some changes, but the best part is we're part of these changes. They're happening with us, and all we have to do is get in synchronicity with them to allow these changes to happen through, for, and to us. And we'll find ourselves being exactly where we need to be. That's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Peace. I'm out of here.